The 49ers, who are 10.5-point favorites over the Patriots. I'll just say this. They covered.
Somebody clip that, bro. Somebody clip that. Oh my gosh, that was funny.
and more. I think they beat them 30-13. I don't even know. Don't even care. Yep, 30-13. We knew this was going to happen. And welcome back to another episode of your favorite Couch Potatoes. I am your host, Jay Cubs, joined by Feisty. And, well, look who decided to join us, Feisty. Big Country's back.
Hey, it's great to be back. Give you guys some actual advice about football and stuff like that again. So
There we go, baby. We missed you a little bit.
Yes,
They were kind of getting
definitely.
tired of us talking, so.
All right, well, let's get started with our sports news around the world before we get into football. Big news in the NBA. Karl Anthony Towns is traded to the New York Knicks. Now, it's not official, hasn't come out officially yet, but what it's looking like is it's going to be for Dante DiVincenzo, Julius Randle, and a first-round pick. So, wow, Knicks are going all in. What do you think about this trade?
I think I just saw. I was just telling you that I think it's finally officially done because the Hornets had to get involved too, and they're getting a second round picks. But this is insane. When I saw this, I was like, "Wow, what just like happened?" I don't remember Cat saying he wanted to trade. I don't remember them having any beef. I thought him and Ant were gonna try to bring a chip to Minnesota. So it was weird to me. It was an explosion that was ready to happen. It almost felt like one of those Woj bombs. Sadly, we won't have those anymore, but
Nope.
but it just felt like that because like Cat is the franchise guy, and it was just weird for them to trade to the New York Knicks out of nowhere. Now this sounds like they're all in, man. I'm excited to see what the Knicks do. I really do feel bad for the what's happened with Cat. A lot of the former teammates like D'Angelo Russell are like, this is a all-star year for Cat. This is going to be a great season for him. He's going to be able to do great things in New York. New York's like the prime place to be as any kind of athlete. It's the big stage, and so I'm excited for him. I think it was kind of one of those, like I said, a bomb. But let's see what happens. Let's see what. And actually, Ant Man said that he was kind of sad about it too. Like
Yeah.
he's sad to let his bro go, but business is business sometimes.
Yeah, it's really sad. I've talked about on here where I kind of do like the Minnesota Jazz, as I call them now, because
Yeah.
there's so many players there. But yeah, Cat's been there forever. I feel like possibly was the longest tenured one. I think he's been there about 9 years. He was there before they even got really good. And I know that obviously you had the two big guys and him and Rudy Gobert, and it didn't seem like it was too big of a problem. I don't know if they just were, like these other pieces are going to be a little bit better of a fit, give more on Ant's shoulders offensively for sure. You'd hope that Randall can come in and stuff. I mean, Randall was an all-star, so if he can come back healthy, then that could be a good piece for them. Obviously, Dante DiVincenzo a dog, so I think it's kind of a good trade for both people, or both parties, but just surprising.
Yeah.
Just came out of nowhere, and you wouldn't think that Cat would be traded. And yeah, I think it's all Minnesota. I don't think Cat wanted to leave at all.
Well, and it's the weirdest thing that happened because like you thought that Cat and Ant had this thing going. I don't think it's going to be the same thing with him and Rudy even playing that pick and roll. I really don't because Cat had the outside threat that he possesses, and he's a little bit quicker than Rudy Gobert, and so it's just it. To me, it just sounds like this is, and I saw things saying that they're just wanting to get more out of Ant Man, and they want to, he's the franchise guy for them, and so it'll be interesting to see what happens for both teams who end up being the winner of this trade because
Yeah.
it was a bomb, man. I think a lot of people kind of were shocked about it. So
Yeah, I
okay.
think you're going to have to get more out of Rudy offensively just
Yeah.
based on Cat not being there, I mean,
Yep.
I don't know. Asking more of Ant is pretty crazy. I mean, he was balling last year, so I'm sure he's going to continue to get better. But taking away that threat, because definitely Cat's better than anybody in the trade. Obviously, that's
Yep.
why they traded so much, and so I think it's going to be harder for him. He's going to get more defensive attention. So we'll have to see how that goes. But let's move right along. No, we talked about it last week because he had just got cut, and it was pretty much right after your boy Derrick Rose officially retired. It's sad to see. What was cool to see was a lot of former and current players showing their support and love for him and everything. But
Yeah.
yeah, Derrick Rose officially retired.
And man, I called it last week when we talked about it that I think that this will be his current call. Like he's just is done. I didn't think he was gonna really go anywhere else. I still agree he belongs in the league. I think that the Grizzlies should take advantage of it, take advantage of this situation and hire him as a player personnel or whatever you need to. He could definitely mentor and develop John Morant. And you know me, I'm a big John Morant fan. So it would be good for him. And, you know, I give him his roses, honestly, because if it wasn't for him, we would have never had players like Westbrook. We've never had players like John Wall, you know,
Yep.
even John Morant, and so it just John what's his name, Fox. Like it's just, to me, he started that era of point guards being just so athletic, and um so just give him his roses, and you know I hope that he ends up somewhere in the league where he's a player personnel or get right into the coaching. I think that's going to be a little bit harder because some players, former players, aren't always the best coaches.
Yeah.
Um, but regardless, I'm excited for him, and you know, hats off to him for his amazing career he's had.
Yeah. Definitely. I echo all those same sentiments. I mean, he was revolutionary. One of those. I mean, really in the height of his run. I know it was really short, but he was kind of that. He was almost as like box office as Steph Curry, even
Yeah,
just with how exciting it was. Still youngest MVP ever. So
for
yeah,
sure.
congrats on a great career. I know it could have been a lot better, but still, he'll no everybody will remember Derrick Rose. So let's move along with more NBA news. Guy who I fucking hate still haunts me to this day, Terrence Mann, Mr. Corner Three himself, gets a 3-year, $47 million extension with the Clippers. Honestly, like, good for him. I'm glad he's gotten his money. I think just in general, I think he's a great player. He's great for the Clippers. Just sucked that he ended up torching us with that. And it wasn't even his fault. Really, it was Rudy being out there and then exposing him. But we won't get into that. We won't get into that. That's another day. But yeah, I like this signing for the Clippers.
I mean, a young guy who they have believed in him and that they know that he can take them places. Now that, especially, you've heard all the troubles with Kawhi Leonard, my favorite player of all time.
And Paul George being gone,
F
your
that
other
guy.
favorite player.
F that guy. Those two just are not the franchise guys that you want to have because they're not loyal at all. There's one, and then there's a thousand other things, but well, we don't have time for it. But Terrence Mann is the man,
Yep.
so I like this. I think.
Haha.
Uh-huh. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Give it to yourself. That was
Uh,
good.
but no, he's young. Why would you not want to keep him around, let him develop, and continue to be the guy for the Clippers? It sounds like Kawhi's not even going to be ready for this next season. I just think that that guy actually needs to retire, like literally. Like I think something is physically wrong with his body because he just keeps getting injured and can't stay healthy. And I remember somebody telling me he has some kind of actual like issue with his. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That guy sucks.
Getting on his
But Terrence
soapbox
Mann's
right
the
now.
man, dude. Like, continue to ride him and see what he can do and develop him. And if it ends up working out for the Clippers, hey, you did what you needed to do. So I
Yes.
heard that one. I saw that one.
That's a hot button issue for
There
Feist
we
there.
go. Well, let's move on before Feist takes up the entire time and we can't even get to football, dude. But no. Switching over to the WNBA, the Connecticut Sun advanced to the semifinals after defeating my girl in Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever officially eliminated from the playoffs. I still think a great season for her and for the Fever, especially after coming off. What did they have? What did we say? It was like a 4-win season or something. They were just so terrible
Yeah,
last year. So still a
yeah.
good season for them. But also advancing are the Minnesota Lynx and my girl Alyssa Peely there. And then this awesome matchup. I'm really excited for this one. Your girl Sabrina Ionescu and the New York Liberty against MVP Asia Wilson in the Las Vegas Aces. Who you got coming out of that one, Feisty?
Dude, that's gonna be a tough one. But I'm gonna have to go with Las Vegas. Sorry, Sabrina.
Oh,
Yeah,
Hmm.
wow.
I
That's
uh,
shocking.
I just feel like the Las Vegas have a way better team put together. Asia's balling out. She has a great support system. Even though the the Liberty have Sabrina and
Brianna
Brianna
Stewart.
Stewart. Say that name. I just still think that they don't have the firepower to compete with that team. And if it goes down to the wire, it's fine. You know what else is so interesting is that the WNBA women they only play best out of three the first
Mm-hmm.
round, which I thought was interesting because then you're literally just playing anyway. So they everybody basically got swept 2-0.
Yep.
And then the next game is best out of five, and then the NBA Finals is best out of five. I would love to see these games go best out of seven, just so you can extend it out a little bit and have a little bit more fight. But that's a great matchup. Minnesota's a great matchup. And you're just gonna have the team that has the most firepower come out on top, regardless of what ends up happening. So, sorry, Liberty, but I'm with my Las Vegas Aces, baby.
All right. Well, we'll have to see how that goes. See if Vice gets clipped on that one.
Not
But
again.
all right, before we get to football, I just wanted to shout out awesome franchise in the world of baseball, which we love so much, the Chicago White Sox, setting an MLB record with 121 losses in a single season.
Oh, shit.
Boy, I can't imagine going to work every single day just doing because they play
Still lose.
every freaking day. Oh, we're losing today. No chance. We got no chance. 121 losses, dude. That is so
How many
many.
games are they playing season?
I think it's like 180 or something. I want to
Oh yeah,
say
100 and no,
182,
yeah,
something like
something like
that.
that. That's
Well,
just
we know
insane.
that we're not the biggest MLB fans, but well, I love a good stats, and this is a great stats for it. So, hey, White Sox, how about you learn how to play some baseball? Put me in, coach.
Yeah, they were
Woo!
41-21 is what this says. So, boy,
Gosh, that's
that
insane.
that is just nuts. But yeah, congrats to them. Hey, can't get any worse, right? We'll have to
Well,
see.
it could.
Or can it?
It might be able to. They could lose 140 next year.
Yikes.
Oh boy. All right. Well, let's get into football. Let's get into some shocking news. Feist, I know you were really excited to kind of talk about this. I am too. This is just wild. And it's the new world of NIL that we're
Oh,
in, and we're seeing a whole other side of it now,
yep.
I think. So, what happened is after going 3-0 with the UNLV Rebels, quarterback Matthew Sloka is leaving the program after representations are not being upheld by the program, according to him. And what those are is he is claiming that an assistant coach promised him $100,000.
Got to get that in
Um,
writing, my boy.
Ah.
literally all I've heard. Every time I say that or hear anybody talk about it, did you want to get that in writing? But before I let you guys get to it, an agent representing Matthew Sluka said that the collective may not have agreed to this, but the coaches did. So, in my opinion on that too is like again, the collectives and ultimately what matters, right? And I feel like we should all know that, um, especially if you're him. So I don't know Yeah, like you said, Wes, get that in writing. But I'll let you guys go ahead. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, yeah, like I said, man, you can't go off of word alone, and you obviously you trust your coaches, but I mean, 100K from UNLV. I feel like they don't get that much money from NIL for NIL deal stuff, So I mean, promising a player 100K, and then on Matthew Sluka for not making it go into writing. I mean, I don't think he has anything to really say here.
Yep.
Let me take a deep breath, boys. Hold on. Hold on. You don't have to. It's going to be okay. All right. What an absolute joke, dude. What an absolute joke. Like, I get it. Go ahead and secure the bag. But for you to say because you weren't this was promised, and then to say, "Oh, because I'm not getting this deal, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the transfer portal." This is the problem, like you said, Jacobs. This is the problem with NIL deals. Like, it controls what teams can do, and it makes you where, for example, Ohio State, Oregon's in a great example of it, but we just do it better. Ohio State has $20 million set aside for just basically roster money. What
Yeah.
are we, an NFL team? Like, that just does not make sense to me. And you guys have known me. This is a hot button. I'm not gonna go off on it, but it just does not make sense to me that this guy is like, because you're not giving me 100K, I'm not gonna play for you anymore. Even though it's a great organization, great program, you're still getting your schooling paid for. You're 3-0, but you'd rather just go get the 100K somewhere else. What an absolute idiot. What an absolute joke. And this is a prime example what NILs are going to do and ruin college football. I'm just going to say it now.
See,
We'll
but
look back.
do you want somebody like that on your team though?
Hell no.
Exactly. So fucking bye.
Yeah, see
Yeah.
you then. I guess
Hell
I
no,
think
bro.
like a third string running back did the same thing too, and
From a
I,
UNL, right?
from UNLV.
Yep.
Yep. Um, I think my thing is I get that he would that 100K would be life changing for him possibly.
Sure.
Like let's say he's not he's not going to go to the NFL. Obviously, he's not on a big program. This might be one of the few NIL deals he'll ever get because I think he's already played 4 years, like a lower division school. I forget what it is, but yeah, obviously, got to get that in writing. It doesn't mean shit if you were promised something. The season's already started, and then I think another thing is there's based on the rules and stuff, if you play less than 4 games, then you can redshirt. And that's just what is so crazy to me. So he had this plan all along. He's just like, all right, I'm gonna wait. Like, you gonna pay me? You gonna pay me? You gonna pay me? Waited basically till the end of the line and said, all right, never mind, I'm leaving. But redshirting, so I don't even know if technically he's entered the transfer portal. I don't see him playing for UNLV again, obviously, but it's just crazy because redshirt used to be a thing that the team did. The team had the choice to do that to a
Yeah.
player, and team did this. Now, I mean, with no rules, with no sanctions, we're just going to see this crap all the time. And like you've already seen with the transfer portal, there's no loyalty to the programs anymore. I talk about it where I think if you look at it, if you're honest with yourself and you look at the tape and you look at college football versus professional football, obviously professional football, the NFL is a lot better of a product being put out there. But
Right.
in a lot of ways, college football in so many towns, states, cities, it's
That's
way
it.
more popular.
Yeah.
And it's because of the traditions, I grew up in this, my dad grew up in this, my mom grew up at this school, and want my kids to go here. And we love this program. We love the coaches, the players, everybody. It's like a family, right? And it's just gone now. It's just gone. So that's hard to see. I think, like we've talked about it, where a lot of these players, like let's say Arch Manning, for example, he's going to make the NCAA so much money, right? Based
Right.
on and I get that he should get paid, but I think you were joking about it, Feisty, but I think it's a great point. You basically you have enough money, you're big enough program, run it like you are an NFL team. we
Yep.
have to set up contracts. We have to set up people that are in charge of these things, salary caps, everything like this, so that crap like this, you're either going to get 100K or you're not, or you're going to get it with incentives, just like happens in the NFL. So I
Yeah.
that's where I'm
See,
starting to.
oh,
I wasn't, obviously you came out and you were upset about it, like from the get go. I definitely wasn't as upset, but I'm just growing more and more these days seeing this crap, man, because this sucks. Like you said, Wes, you want that guy on your team, but how many guys are out there right now that are like that? And that's what's just taken away from college football.
Travis Hunter and Shador Sanders,
Yeah, and
Yep,
here's the thing though that like I would like to
all
add
about
on to.
themselves.
all about it.
Here's the issue with this is I think he said he was technically supposed to be get payments of like 3,100 or something like that, or 3,200. So 3,000 some with some change. Um, that was what was promised. That was what was delivered.
Like a
And he's
game or
not,
something,
huh?
like a game,
I
300
don't know
or
what it was. I
3,000 or
don't know if it
A
was
whatever.
week
the
or
game. I don't know if it
Okay.
was. I didn't really read too much into it, but like, regardless of what it is, man, I think we forgot what college football does. I honestly would not like the idea of turning it into an NFL team because that already exists. And college football is exciting because everybody is hungry for that next stage. Like everybody, you've made it out, you've done what you need to do, your schooling is paid for, you're playing the thing that you love the most. What more do you need? And now you get the opportunity to go and play the next level. Like that's how exciting football used to be for college football. Now it literally I forgot who said, I don't know if it was the new USC coach, I forgot his name, but like he said a good quarterback is gonna cost you about $1 million or a
Oh,
million dollars.
Nebraska head coach said that. Matt Rule. I
Yeah.
remember that.
And it's gonna cost you $1 million. Like that's insane. You're getting to the point where you're paying for these. I've said this. Gosh, I said I wasn't gonna go off on it, but
It's
like
fine,
you
man.
get
Go
to the
off.
point, bro. Like you get to the point where this shit is so annoying. You're already getting all your schooling paid for. You're getting all these incentives on the side. What more do you need from these programs? I agree that the program shouldn't keep all this money. I think that it should be invested back into the program and actually distributed to everybody, not just those that because then it's affecting everybody, right? Now
But that's
your scholarship that you're getting paid, you're also getting paid on the side, and you have a scholarship. That scholarship could be paid out to like three other students. That's my issue. Is it's got to be a system that where it's if it's going to affect everybody, it affects everybody. I don't think the colleges should get to keep this money, but at the same time, it's how can we invest it back to the program and how can we invest it back to the school itself is what I have a hard time with, and especially in this scenario where he's like, "I'm not getting my 100K, I'm out, bro. You're not on a. This isn't a job. We don't have a contract, right? If you're not gonna go ahead, your team is great. This could have been a great opportunity for you. Even if he goes to freaking Alabama and balls out, somebody's gonna dig up this story again when at the NFL Combine and say."
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know if
he's
I would
not
draft this
even.
guy.
well.
He's never gonna go
Just
that far.
I'm just
Well,
saying.
let me
Yeah,
ask you this. Let me ask you this. So, NCAA, the college football is supposed to be a semi professional thing, right? It's not even supposed to be professional. But if you
Right.
start paying athletes, like you said, Matt Rule said, with the having to pay a good quarterback $1 million. I mean, that's just that. I mean, are they not pros at that point? So what's the
Yeah.
next stage?
Right.
You know what I mean? Just go, and then you can go make a ton of money in the NFL. I mean, that's the next stage. It's just going to make people greedy. It's ruining college football. I mean,
yeah,
it's
Just not fun,
college
man.
football is supposed to be semi-professional.
Yep.
The reason why you play college football is to go get an education. Number one, first and foremost, overall. And then
Fully paid for.
number two is to build to have something to build for to get to where your family's secure.
yeah,
You know
Amen.
what I mean?
A freaking man, Wes.
yeah. And I didn't think like I said, where it should be like an NFL team. I get that, like it shouldn't be like that's what makes college football so fun is not being like that. But now that we are at a point where players are getting played, I'm just saying more in the sense that, like that's going to fix crap like this, and where hopefully the transfer portal isn't as just like a liability, red shirts just whenever you want to, like, like I said, UNLV not as big of a program, but they got a fan base, and if anybody, if that happened to someone at the Utes, I'm like, that's gonna be devastating, especially the starting quarterback, to do something like that. So I just think that if we're gonna have this, which we already do, we need to get some sort of sanctioning body that
Yeah,
oversees these things. Say how much money that the teams are going to get. Like, and that's the thing too, is we're just talking football, but there's all these other college sports teams, and they need stuff too, right? And obviously, college football funds a lot, but you got to like just set some rules, set some boundaries, so that we can figure this out, and so crap like this doesn't keep happening. Because if this is going to happen, I think you're going to see a snowball effect and see way more.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. Hopefully something gets figured out because even those transfer portals, man, people are using it as if it was nice when they had to wait a year. Now they don't have to wait a year, and it's you get to pick a team you want to go to. They pay you, and boom, you're gone.
Yeah.
You're
There's
already
got to
there.
be there's got to be repercussions.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. There's got to be something, because this is just terrible for the team and the community as a whole. So, speaking more of UNLV, let's move along. Them and Air Force are actually going to stay put in the Mountain West Conference. I think we talked about it last week. Feisty thought UNLV might be a Pac-12 team, but they got significant financial bonuses promised to both of those schools, and so they signed a binding agreement last week. And then some more news: Gonzaga is joining the Pac-12, so now they are up to 8 teams. And then UTEP, University of Texas at El Paso, it's a mouthful, is leaving the Conference USA for the Mountain West. So just a little bit more conference realignment there. I don't know if you guys have any crazy thoughts on that, but that's just kind of the new updated, um, yeah, conferences that we have for now.
I'm looking forward to what happens with Weber State. I think we talked about this last week, um, or we were going to talk about it last week.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering where they end up going, like what conference they realign with, because they're a smaller Division 1 team, but they have a good program. They're not doing so hot this year because they lost their head coach to somebody named BYU. So.
He's their
Um,
defensive coordinator now,
Yeah, he's
right?
the defensive coordinator. He's doing great things for them. But like, I was hoping that he would suck over there and be like, "Oh, we're gonna have to let you go. Actually, you need to come back." But he did great things for Weber State. So that's my only like comment. Is I'm kind of curious to see what Weber State ends up doing
Yeah.
with all this realignment because the higher the conference you go, the more money obviously it becomes to attend that school, and also more funding comes towards it and all that stuff. Things become more expensive. So that's just my curiosity. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. I mean, I don't know where you guys are at with all this stuff. About the Pac-12 versus Mountain West Conference. Yeah, no, I mean the Pac-12 definitely. I mean, they needed something, right? They only
Yeah.
have the 2 teams this year. They needed something. So, I mean, with all these lower tier schools coming into the Pac-12, it's just going to be, I feel like the Pac-12 is just turning into like a lesser Mountain West Conference. I feel like.
Essentially, yeah. So they're doing something. I figured they'd get a lot of those Mountain West, like we were saying. So we'll have to see what they continue to do. It doesn't look like they're stopping. I'm sure they're constantly trying to get more people. So, all right, let's get to the AP poll. And like I said, hopefully we get to clip Feisty again, because we got him once. Alabama, roll tide, roll,
How
beats
about that rebel
Georgia.
tie?
41-34. This was obviously the game of the week, like we talked about. Alabama started out hot. They were up 23 points at one point. Georgia has a great second quarter comeback, comes up just short. I think they scored like a 67-yard touchdown, and then right after, Bama hits them back with a 75-yard touchdown, and then a pick in the end zone to get it off. And your new number one in the Kalen DeBoer era, Alabama back on top, basically where they were last year.
You know what, Vice? You can go right ahead, bud.
I don't even know. I got nothing to say except I got clipped. Oh my gosh, this is an exciting game, dude. I literally was like, George, oh my gosh, you guys are gonna see that clip. It's gonna be funny. I said Georgia's gonna be the best team. Nobody can compete against Georgia. They're an NFL team. Everybody else is a bunch of little boys playing little league. And wow, did they tell me to shut up?
No.
That was insane, man. Georgia just did not look like they knew what they were doing in the first half, realistically. And then somehow, they got some kind of sense back into them. And second half was a better game, even still losing 41-34. Gosh, dude, it makes me wonder what's gonna happen now because Alabama is not better than Texas, right?
I
Oh,
was surprised about that.
oh, I shouldn't say many things out loud no more. But I don't think Alabama is better than Texas. Um,
Make
fingers
sure
crossed.
we mark that wherever that was.
Mark that right now. But it's just interesting to me because I thought Georgia was the team to beat. I literally thought the team to beat was Georgia. Ohio State hasn't really played anybody really, so like we can't really say Ohio State's the team to beat. But now it's looking like Texas is the team to beat, even though Alabama jumped up one to the top spot. But I'm gonna stop there because I don't want to eat my words again.
But I mean, didn't so Georgia had a tough time against Kentucky, right?
Yeah, barely
Yeah,
beat
it's
Kentucky
true.
13 to
So I
12.
mean, you should have got fucking clipped. Can't come out and say that Georgia's an NFL team after they almost lose to Kentucky,
I thought that
and
was
then
because they were like trying to let teams know that they have a weakness.
oh
That
yeah, it
weakness
was
is
on purpose.
yeah,
Well, that's obviously not true.
not anymore. Oh,
No,
Yeah. Well,
well, hold on a minute.
okay.
Why
All
are you
right.
always
All
trying to cut me off, man? Come on now.
you ever give it 2 weeks?
I just came back, bud. Come on, man.
Messed up the flow, okay? All right. We're something. Yeah, 2 week thing, man.
But no, I think I mean Bama coming out and playing like they did against Georgia. That was just that was insane. I mean, I didn't think the Bama was going to be like this after losing Nick Saban. And that's I mean, what a statement by Bama.
Oh, yeah.
What a
Oh, yeah.
statement to come out and beat the team that everybody said would be the only team to be undefeated. If and
Said that. What a crazy guy.
yeah, what an idiot.
What an actual idiot.
Oh boy. Yeah, no, I was just gonna say that I think it's definitely huge. You beat the number 2 ranked Georgia Bulldogs. I'm surprised they went up over Texas. I know it's definitely a bigger win than Texas, who's at number 2 after they beat Mississippi State 35-13. But I feel like Texas has still done enough to maybe still be number 1. I'm not
Yeah,
like too mad about it or anything, but yeah.
yeah. That game definitely gave me the feels that I didn't think I was gonna have. So good for Alabama. I think that's exciting to see that somebody can beat Georgia. As much as like I hate Georgia, I just was like, dude, there's no way nobody's gonna beat them. So it's gonna make it interesting to see what happens the rest of the season because it's Georgia's schedule gets a little bit harder now. They've played all the easy teams besides Alabama. Alabama's not easy. Don't clip me. Don't. But I'm excited to see what ends up happening the rest of the season for Alabama. Nick Saban was there. That was kind of cool.
Oh
There
yeah.
was a thing that went out said why are we celebrating? Because I think they were up like 21 or 28 nothing, and it said like Nick Saban up in the box, and he's like super disappointed because they were celebrating, and it was like why are we celebrating? Job's not finished. So
Yep.
they just have that
Typical
dog
Nick Saban.
mentality. So,
Typical Nick Saban there.
so
Yeah, well, so yeah, Texas at number 2. Ohio State stays at number 3 after killing Michigan State 38-7. Tennessee goes up 1, even though they were idle this week. And yeah, the Georgia Bulldogs down to number 5. Oof,
yeah,
already
tough
with
week.
one loss in the SEC. Oh boy.
That's a tough week. The one that I was curious on was Texas. I was wondering if they were gonna move on. I just it was weird because obviously they didn't play a tough team and they're 1-4 Mississippi State, so it's not that big of a deal. Arch Manning ended up having like 300 plus yards and 2 touchdowns. They did announce, I think it's been announced, right, that they're gonna go with Ewer starting from now.
I
Um,
didn't I didn't hear that. Did they say that?
I
Is he
saw that
healthy
on yeah,
yet?
I saw that on Bleacher Report. They were gonna go with you or starting next week, which is good. Like we've talked about it because we're like they should definitely give Ewers the job. They have Arch Manning for another 2 years. He could be a one hit wonder next year and win the Heisman and then go right into the NFL. But
Well, and he's still redshirt, right?
yeah, so he
Hmm.
still has
And
like 3 or 4 years.
he's played 3 games,
Yeah, but
Yeah,
three games.
I think this would
he's
still
played
count
two.
for him.
I think
Well, I
this
know,
was
but I think you can play up to 4 games on a redshirt tag
right. That's what.
But I don't think
and
he's going to
still be
redshirt this
eligible.
year. I think hopefully not,
I don't
based
think
on
he
what we've
needs
seen.
it.
But
I think he
yeah,
just needs 2 years and he's done. Even if it's not 2 years, it's
no,
1 year, he's done. But it was
Yeah,
interesting
but
that
still
they
keep
kind
that
of
1 year
stayed.
of eligibility. You know.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I
So
think he redshirted last year. So he did that, and then so this is his freshman year instead of his
freshman year.
redshirt freshman year. That's what you call it. So, but I
Hmm.
Yeah.
don't think this one will count. And then we got our Oregon Ducks up two to number 6, Feisty.
Yeah, so we ended up defeating UCLA 34-13. This was once again a game where we figured out what was going right for us. James Jordan was playing really well. Tez Johnson and our receivers were playing really well together. Um, Dylan Gabriel looked comfortable. He wasn't getting freaking pound no put on the ground so much, getting freaking sacked like every other freaking play.
That's all you needed
Uh,
to say. You
oh
paused on
no!
it too.
Oh my
You
gosh!
just had to
No,
pause. You
I'm
just had to
sorry.
pause.
But anyway, Tez Johnson. Tez Johnson ends up going off. Actually, ends up having 11 yards and 120. Or sorry, 11 receiving catches with 121 yards and two TDs. Gosh, that pounding just
Phew.
is getting to
I
me.
was gonna make fun of you, but I think I did the same thing last week. So,
Yeah. A good overall game. I was worried. I think you knew that. I was worried that having the bye week right before a dominating win was gonna affect us, but it just seems like now we've got our stuff figured out. I still don't think that we can compete with that top five guys. Tennessee, 10% freaking increase on tickets. We
he's
can
gonna say
definitely
this
beat
all
those
year.
guys. But everybody else, I think, is going to be a little bit tougher. If Alabama is destroying Georgia like that, I'm kind of worried for Oregon because they couldn't really compete. So that game that's supposed to happen in 2 weeks against Ohio State will kind of determine what they can do. But
Yup.
sixth place is a good spot for them. So
What happened to 20 million in cap space?
um, next
And how they
Next.
use it so well.
next question.
Yeah, number one recruiting class in the Big Ten.
Yeah, we surpassed Ohio State, but I'm just here so I won't get fined.
All right, well, let's stay in the Big Ten with Penn State, who goes up 2 more spots after beating 24 ranked Illinois. And then Miami at number 8, dropping 1 spot because they barely beat Virginia Tech. And man, I don't know how I feel about this end call. Obviously, the Hail Mary there, where you couldn't see the ball at all, it originally ruled a touchdown on the field. Now, I always talk about if you don't have overwhelming evidence, um, then you go with the call on the field. But
Yeah,
touchdown for Virginia Tech was ruled, and crowds rushed, everything like that. They had to bring him back, review it, and everything forever. And they overturn it, say Miami. There was an incomplete pass because a Miami player was out of bounds when he touched the ball or something, which I could never see. I mean, it was just so crowded, but
yeah.
yeah, Miami able to sneak out with the win there.
Hey, I just want to say,
Uh
you guys remember week one
oh. Go
when
ahead. I got it
when I
queued up for you.
week one when I said Cam Ward, you gotta watch Cam Ward. You have it
Man,
queued up? Yeah, I don't think he has it queued up.
are you ready?
That's
Heisman,
you did
Heisman,
call it.
Did.
Heisman watch, man. I'm just telling you right now, Cam Ward Heisman watch. When I watched Cam Ward in week one, you could just tell, like how he was just like there was no phasing him at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The game looked so easy to him, and this. I mean, I understand that they only barely beat Virginia Tech, but Cam Ward still had a great game. So it's
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you, man. I think Cam Ward for Heisman.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. He had 400 total yards and five total touchdowns. I mean, dude's a baller. I saw this one clip where he told the defense exactly what he was going to do, and
Nice.
still completed the play and
That's
caught him.
confidence.
And I'm like, yeah, I'd have to agree with you, man. And Miami looks more and more. I know Clemson's still kind of up there, but more and more like the runaway favorite for the ACC champions, man. It's a crazy thing to watch. And I think with Ewers going down, you definitely I'd put Cam Ward as my favorite after this
Hey,
week.
hey, guess what else I called?
What? See
Miami
the
ACC
ACC champions.
ACC champions. Wait, hold on. Who did you guys pick?
Florida
Oh,
State, who I think has won. They've won so far now, even though
Oh,
DJ
one game.
Uwale is now out with a broken finger. And take it from me, I know how long that can last.
Just gotta say, I just gotta rub it in a little bit. You know what
I mean,
I mean?
do they have Mario Cristobal as their head coach still?
hmm
Yeah, F
Yeah,
that guy.
after he went to go visit his grandma, right? And then
F that guy. He didn't go visit his grandma. I'm telling you this every week. He did not go visit. Oh, every time I hear Miami, I go.
what?
So Miami. I like Cam Ward. I think that he's a dog. He's been balling out. Like especially that confidence of like telling him where you're gonna go. He just like you said, he just looks like the game comes to him so easy. He definitely should win Heisman or at least one or two or three, at least top three candidate for it, just because of the stats he's putting up. Nobody else is, and so I still don't like Miami. They should have dropped two, in my opinion. Mario ball. But good game for them. I really thought that was a touchdown as well for Virginia, but it just somebody's paying those refs. Sounds like those Mahomes refs were at that game. So, but good for Cam.
Yeah, definitely. Well, moving up to number 9 is Missouri, who moves up 2 after staying idle. And then moving up 2 to the top 10 is Michigan, who we all know Feist is a huge fan of, after barely beating Minnesota 27-24 in overtime.
Michigan. I'm only a fan of him this year because I need him to do one thing for me, and that's beat the Ohio State
Okay.
University. Kidding. I don't know why I had that be that
I'm
dramatic, but
gonna sound it out.
they barely beat Minnesota once again. It's almost like they're just barely beating these teams. Stats wise, nothing was impressive at all. The quarterback went 10 for 18, 86 yards, one touchdown, one interception. Of course, they
Yep.
don't have a quarterback. Like it just they're still relying heavily on the running back, and that is insane to me. The amount of carries he had 24 carries with 111 yards. So it's if they have that mentality, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But sooner or later, it's gonna catch up to them. And I'm sorry, I know I'm rooting for them, but I don't think they have what it takes to beat Ohio. So it looks like we're gonna have to do it ourselves twice. But good for Michigan. I don't know how they keep jumping up these like big spots every time, especially with them beating Minnesota by a field goal. Like I think they should have just stayed where they're at, to be honest. But it's Michigan; they gotta have some
Hey,
kind of hype. So
Michigan won last year without a real quarterback, so I don't know why they can't do it
what
again.
happened to that quarterback? And we'll get to that later.
All right, well, let's move along. USC is up to number 11 after beating Wisconsin 38-21. I did see Wisconsin was up in the first half. I was getting a little excited, but then they ran away with it in the second half. Big upset this week. Number 12 now dropping 6 spots is Ole Miss after losing to Kentucky
Kentucky.
20-17 on a crazy last second touchdown. So just like you're talking about with Georgia, man, barely beating them. Now Ole Miss loses to them. Kentucky can play with some teams, it looks like. I know they're not having the greatest season, but yeah, terrible for Ole Miss. I mean, being in the SEC is going to be tough to make the playoffs now. Obviously, I don't think they're going to have a shot at the championship, but even just making the 12 team is going to be hard for them after losing that one. So then moving along, we got LSU at 13 going up one, beat South Alabama 42-10. And then another great game, Notre Dame Louisville. Notre Dame comes out on top, jumps up 2 spots, beating Louisville 31-24. Clemson goes up 2 spots after they beat Stanford 40-14. Iowa State continues to remain undefeated after defeating Houston 20-0. And I'm not even going to say a word about the other team. So just anybody take it from here. But
Oh, hold on, Wes. Let me cue you up, baby.
Hey,
From Provo, Utah, writing in the Book of Mormon. No, I'm just kidding. I shouldn't say that. From Provo, Utah, it's EYU.
hey, boys! Remember at the beginning of the season. Remember at the beginning of the season when you guys said that they're only going to win 3 games. Only going to win 3 games. I had them winning 6, and I'm going to be wrong. Hey, up to hey 5-0, 5-0 start for the Cougs. They, you guys probably talked about it last week. Kansas State when they came out and just absolutely dominated Kansas State. I was at that game. I know that you guys mentioned that. That was a crazy atmosphere to be in, boys. That was amazing.
I can't imagine
to be able to see that live. And then come and play Baylor, second game in the conference. And hey,
boom.
They come out hot, and then they kind of slowed down a little bit. Defense played really well at the beginning of the game, and then Baylor's offense started to actually pick up a little bit. And I also want to say another thing. I thought their defense was going to be trash. This is like the worst take on my favorite team.
Yeah,
I thought their defense was going to be trash because they were the worst in the Big 12 last season. But coming in this year, they're flying, boys. They're flying, playing just like the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I mentioned that last week.
But yeah, I love the start that BYU is playing amazing right now. Their offense is okay, but their defense is just something that I haven't seen in a while. So it's awesome to watch.
I guess it's my turn, and we got to say good things about BYU.
Oh, hey, guess who's first in the Big 12? Kyle, I want to hear you say it. Guess who's first in the Big 12? I want to.
He's having technical difficulties. He can't say those words. I got you, my boy. BYU, man, they're definitely showing out what we didn't think they could do. We both said 3-0, and then they were gonna start that hard stretch of losing teams to those teams that they've dominated basically now. Man, something is clicking with them. Something is finally working. Seems like their whole team on offense is doing what they're doing, what they're supposed to be doing, and what's nice is that they're that smash mash football, right? Just run it down your throat, and it seems to be working. And again, it ain't broke. Don't fix it until you face the Utes. Go ahead, Kyle.
I don't
Yeah.
even know. Oh man, it looked like it was a blowout from the beginning. I was getting all pissed. They were up, I think, like 28-7 at one point, and I'm like, okay, awesome, this is great. And Baylor made a comeback. They had a chance there in the end. Lost 34-28, I believe. But yeah, they're shocking the world right now. I know Iowa State's right above them in the Big 12. I think they're undefeated as well. But I think BYU's got like a tiebreaker or something, probably,
Mm-hmm.
winning or how much they've won by, stuff like that. But um, man, I mean, after what they did to Kansas State, who I can't even remember what they were favored in that game. That was just insane. So it's crazy. It's crazy. I think that they're on a bye this week too. We got Arizona after that, and then yeah, obviously the big game in November. But yeah, that's it.
I don't think he said. I don't think he said one good thing. He was beating around the bush. He was beating around the bush.
Oh, well, it's because I've already depressed enough. I
We
think
had
I
a great
sent
weekend.
this little essay to you guys, and just we already know the Patriots suck. Now the NBA is back with their media days, reminding me that the Jazz suck. My NASCAR driver spun out in first place, and then Wesley's driver won. BYU is undefeated, and Utah, the one good thing. Oh
I wish
boy,
I had a sound bit for this one, bro, for him to cry or something.
yeah, I'm about to. Give me the Ravens or something at
Oh my
least. Just
gosh, this this man is
no, he's not going to do it. Okay.
Nope.
just kidding.
No, no, that was the wrong one.
He
That was
feels
the wrong
bad.
one. He
I'm
doesn't deserve
sorry.
that. He
He's
don't
not. He's
deserve
not.
that.
Don't
It's why
deserve
you do
that.
that. I'm sorry.
There we go. Um, boy. So Utah loses to Arizona 23-10 at home. Snaps are Wow, Fice had to leave for this one. That was
Yeah,
kind of
I
crazy.
guess.
Snaps a 31 home game winning streak to unranked opponents.
I went to go cry for you for a little bit.
Obviously, still no cam rising. I mean, it just was horrible. We never led. Defense played okay in the first half, but
Obviously not good enough.
Yeah,
definitely not good enough. Isaac Wilson, not that great. 20
Not
for
like that
40.
BYU defense.
he's not gonna let it go.
No.
You know, all right,
276
just
yards, one
for the
touchdown, and two picks.
viewers.
Okay, sucked. We all sucked.
For
I
the
don't know,
viewers
and I
at
don't even
home.
know. I don't even know how good that Oklahoma State win was. Because guess what? Kansas State did to Oklahoma State. They beat them 42-20,
Destroyed
which I
them.
think so.
Wait, so how good's BYU?
So,
Hey, just for the viewers at home, this dude talks the most amount of shit on BYU. The most amount of shit. He doesn't talk about anybody. It doesn't matter what sports team it is. He doesn't talk any crap on anybody else's sports team as much as he talks crap on BYU. So I'm just sitting here
Actually, the
hey,
Cowboys.
loving
what
it.
about the Cowboys?
How
Okay,
about
the
the Cowboys, bro?
Cowboys are a close second, but yeah, you should, man, you should, and deservingly so. I mean, I don't know why Utah does this. They do this every fucking year, where even the years we beat USC, Oregon in the Pac-12 championships, our back-to-back years, I think we went 9-3 in both of those years, and at some points we're ranked like close enough that we were, and we beat tough teams to where we're potentially gonna be close at least to getting a playoff berth or at least a really high bowl game, and then we lose to UCLA, we lose to whoever, and now we do it to Arizona after going into Oklahoma State, getting that win, like we talked about, Feisty, where that was the loss that I gave Utah, right? I
Yeah,
did say, that that's the hardest game on paper. There's going to be a lot more hard tests to come, but yeah, just we got to do this every fucking year, and I don't know why, but it's not over as far as the Big 12, especially, and then the new playoff system. We're gonna have both Iowa State and BYU on our schedules coming up, so and both of them at home, which is going to be a huge thing, even though it didn't seem to matter to Arizona at all. But yeah, it's tough. It's not over. We're gonna have to, but the thing is, like now, those are must-win games. You can't have any question about losing those games, unless BYU or Iowa State goes through something. But the way it's looking right now, I don't know that they will. I mean, you already got. I think we said like Kansas State was one of the tougher games we thought for BYU. Got that checked off. Looked really good against Baylor. So
I think it
it's
was
going to
just
be
Kansas
tough.
State. I know that they play. Um, what is it? Is it Arizona State? The other one that's ranked or was ranked
Arizona was
was
ranked to
ranked.
start, but now they're not. But and I think that they have them coming up in a couple of weeks. Let's see. Oh, we got Oklahoma State, which who even are they? And then UCF, who I think they just lost to Colorado, which we didn't talk about pretty freaking well. They dominated. Then you got us in Utah, Kansas, who's terrible, Arizona State, and Houston to end. So I mean, that schedule's not looking nearly as tough as we
It's really
thought it
just the
was,
Utes. I feel
especially
like.
now.
I mean, with
Yeah,
that rivalry, it's really just the Utes because I mean anything can happen in that game.
yeah,
It doesn't matter how good BYU looks walking into that game or how terrible Utah looks or however you want to look at it. It's a rivalry
right.
game, one of the most deep rooted rivalry games I feel like in the nation,
Yep.
and anything can happen there. So
And you got Arizona and Oklahoma State, which I think are two of the tougher ones on your schedule, both at home too. So that'll be huge for you
the
guys.
thing that like irritates the living crap out of me is Cam Rising. I'm sorry, dude. What are you doing? Why are you being a little biatch? Why are you being a little girl? Oh, my finger hurts. But I'm gonna make $2.5 million and just pretend football and dress up. What? Like, bro, your team needs you. You
gonna be
don't got
like
another year. Like,
gonna be
this is
like
your
Russell
last
Wilson on the
year, bro.
sideline.
Like,
I don't know. He might not be. He might get another year. I
dude,
think
if he
he
gets
only
another
played 3
year,
games.
uh,
I hope not, but
if he
I
gets
like
another year,
him.
that's
I
gonna be
don't.
a problem.
I think that I don't think he's faking the injury. I think he'd want to be out there. I mean, we're clearly going to be better with him on the field than
Sure,
not.
yeah,
And now we have a bye, but I think it just sucks because, like I said, I think that Utah shouldn't have played the game last year. It was not cool to their fans, and I don't know if you're just trying to do that so you get more butts and seats, but you shouldn't have done that last year with his freaking ACL. We know he wasn't going to come back, but there was always a thing, there was always a chance, and
yeah.
now you just don't know with this like finger. That's why I read that thing about DJ Onguwale or whatever. Sorry, I can't say his last name, but they're like expected to miss the next few weeks or something. So I'm like, if we got that with Cam, we would. I feel like there
Yeah,
wouldn't be as many people like upset about it.
but it's
So
every
I
week
I, I
changing.
think that he could play, or I mean, I think he will play when he can. It
You're a
just
lot
sucks
nicer
though.
than me. I think he's just been a little. So, what? Like, your team needs you. If you're not gonna go out there and perform, like you're getting paid $2.5 million, and dude, you're not gonna make it to the NFL. What's the point? What do you have to lose? You're basically getting your doctor's degree at this point with your
I'm
in
sure he's
school.
got. I'm sure
Like,
he's going
oh my
getting
gosh,
all of his.
dude. You're not gonna get into the NFL. I don't think you have anything to lose but everything to gain for your team. And
Well,
you
I
said
think a
this with the
thing.
first well, you said this in the first game where even your defense was playing way better, but then as soon as he went out, boom, injury. Like, and then the whole team kind of shut down.
Yeah,
So
and I think he could, spark that team and get us all playing better. I think that something that gets like forgotten is that he it was said that he was planning on declaring for the draft before he tore his ACL, and he shouldn't have played in that game because he was already hurt. His knee was already hurting, and it was in a bowl game. in the Rose Bowl, where you know how the bowl game thing is with NIL these days, anyways, where nobody plays, and he played, and that's where he tore his ACL. So I think he deserves a little more credit. I think that it's just unfortunate. It's just terrible, terrible freaking timing and everything. So
Well, and I think
I
that team's got to rally around a freshman now, you know,
yeah,
and
hmm
that's something that's really tough to do. A freshman
a
that the
true
team,
freshman
yeah,
too.
yeah, and it's something tough that the Utes. I mean, Isaac Wilson, I feel like is better than any of the backup play that you had last season.
Yeah,
So by
Well, and
I think a long shot. So
don't they
I
have that 4-star or 5-star quarterback on the team too?
we
He's a
got
transfer. He used
Rose.
to be a 4-star quarterback in uh,
Yeah,
high school or something. But like even then, I don't blame it on Isaac Wilson. I think that even though he was 20 for 40, I think that he did what he could with what he knows. He's still got a lot to learn. I think he's your like West said, he's your best option. But I think it's just a matter of the fact. I just think that Cam Rising is being a little, and he needs to man up and just play.
well,
You
I
got
hope we can clip your ass on that again, and Cam comes back.
we got plans in motion.
Against
Don't make me do
Arizona
it.
State, and yeah, we go on a run. So
Well,
let's
that
move
would be
along.
awesome.
Let's move along to Oklahoma, who goes up two after beating Auburn 27-21. Kansas State, like I said, they're up three after killing Oklahoma State. Boise State jumps up 4-21 after beating Washington State. So, yeah, like you said, that Pac 12 just looks so awesome. And then Louisville, they dropped seven after losing to Notre Dame, which I think might be a little too much, in my opinion, just because they were both ranked about the same. And, you know, it's not like they got blown out. They lost by one touchdown. So, and then Indiana, they get into the power rankings at 23 after beating Maryland 42-28. Illinois drops 5 spots after losing to Penn State. And then we have a tie. I don't know if I've seen this before. A tie at 25th. UNLV without Mr. Sluka getting into the top 25, and then Texas A&M tied with them there. So, any other thoughts from you guys on the top 25 AP poll?
yeah, the quarterback from UNLV is an idiot. Well, not from UNLV
I
anymore.
don't
I
know
mean,
if we said that.
you go 3-0, and then your team's ranked now, and then you
Yeah,
leave. Like it
and
just
you
yeah,
left.
I don't know.
What you mean to say is what an absolute joke.
Oh, damn it.
Okay, what an absolute
Idiot.
Idiot.
Well, hell of a way to end the college football segment. On the other side of this break, we'll get into the NFL. And welcome back. Let's get into the NFL. We'll start with Thursday night football. And I'll just let you take it from here.
We're not gonna hear. Oh, thank goodness! I thought I was gonna hear the usual cue. Feels good. Feels good to Cowboys. Let's get right into it. The Cowboys finally get something together and beat the good old Giants 20.
Wow.
Ooh, ow. Hey,
Whoa.
Super Bowl run,
Nice.
boys.
Look
It's
at
our
that.
year.
They're
It's our
back.
year.
We're back, baby. This is our year. Hell no. The Cowboys end up winning 20-15 against the Giants. Daniel Dimes was on our team. He actually didn't play too bad, actually, to be honest with you. But ultimately, Daniel Dimes with Daniel Dimes, and um, big, big news about this game is we played just what we needed to play. It wasn't anything flashy. Dak still sucking, but he had some good stats. But
It's the
Micah
season, bud.
Parsons,
He's good.
Brock
That's
Purdy
regular
ain't
season.
good. Dak Prescott ain't even better. Um, but Micah Parsons and Demarcus Lawrence, Mr. Tank himself, are actually got injured in that game. And they're kind of out for multiple weeks. I know that they're out this week, and then I think the next 2 weeks as well. I know that Lawrence, they were saying he's looking out 4 to 4 weeks at least. Micah, they're kind of, it's like week to week kind of thing, not day to day, and so this is a big hurt, especially when we're going to be going against you know who late next week, and so I'm just kind of like worried a little bit for the Cowboys, but good win overall. Good, just good win. That's really all I gotta say. I think it was just we just needed a bounce back because imagine starting out 1-3.
Yeah, imagine that. Um, what are you in fantasy, by the way?
Oh, I'm the proud owner of a 0-4 team. I'm struggling.
Yeah, what a freaking shit show, man. This game was not fun. It was nice to see CD Lamb get that touchdown, get him opened up, but yeah, lots of field goals from the Giants. Malik Neighbors, he was killing it. I mean, gave you
I mean, who
flashbacks
wasn't?
to one of your favorite all-time receivers in OBJ there in a New York Jet or Giant uniform. But yeah, not much to say about this game. Micah Parsons and Demarcus Lawrence going down. Oh boy,
Yeah,
with the run defense struggles that you had going into this game, I know you guys killed it on this one. I think there were some crazy stats, like you had let up like 700 yards the last two games in rushing, and you let up two in the or 24 in this game, 1.1 per rush, like good stats. But when you go up against some real teams that can run the ball, and especially without those two guys there, I know they're big pass rushers, but definitely are great defenders overall. So that's going to be tough for the boys going forward.
Hey, you know what a Cowboys way to do it, where your whole damn defense gets injured by week 4.
leave us alone.
But but I think because I mean, at this point in the year, the Giants usually have people saying like, "Oh, they might be good this year. Danny Dimes might actually be good this year," and then usually at this point in the season, everybody from Dallas is saying it's our year. But I don't think anybody coming into this game was saying it's our year at all. Just because I mean, nothing's been clicking. Defense, offense. Dallas has been struggling, especially with the new Mike Zimmerman defense. It's not the same Dallas defense that we, once knew for the last few years. And yeah, and then to lose your top 2 defensive linemen, linebacker,
Yep.
that's a huge hit to the defense that was already struggling. So I guess we'll have to see how they do this week.
We'll get to that later. We don't want to talk about it. Don't do it. Hey, and you know what? It was just a win that we needed to get our confidence back. And it's always a great week when the fly Eagles, don't fly, baby.
Get grounded,
So
huh?
they ended up losing to the Bucks 33-16. And this was a good game for the Bucks. That feels good to say. I hate the Eagles so much. Those guys aren't good. F those guys. But it was a good dominating win. Like they were up 24-7 at halftime. They dominated both sides of the field, and they just never let up. It was just hard for the Eagles to get anything going to start flying, and I I love those Pirates taking down those stupid freaking Eagles. So any week that the Eagles lose, it's a great week. I don't care if the
Good
Cowboys
week.
win or not.
Yeah, the Bucks really exposed them, man. I mean, it looked like two different tiers of teams out there on the field. The just Eagles couldn't get anything going. I think for like the first quarter or something, they had like 0 yards of offense or something to 200 something from the Bucks. And I've always, kind of been a fan. I know we've talked about on this podcast how we all kind of like Baker Mayfield, think he was written off too early, and obviously he continues to kill it, even though he's like talking shit on Tom Brady a little bit. I don't know if it was talking. It was just weird. I don't know if you guys saw that, but he's
You
like, they
would take
brought
that
me in
personally.
because, well, Brady kind of did too. He's like, because what Baker says, they brought me in to be me and to bring some fun and joy to the room. I think they were all stressed when Tom was here. And Tom was like, what was stressful to me was not winning Super Bowls. If I wanted to go have fun, I'd go take my kids to Disneyland.
Yeah.
So right?
Go.
Only Tom would say that, but they ended up talking like Tom gave him the LFG player of the game, and I think that they're good, but it was just kind of a interesting comment to make, especially right before he's going to call your game. So then they gave Brady his time to say that. But anyways, back to the Bucks. They look good, man. I've always been a fan of them. Obviously, since Brady went there and with Baker, um, I think that they could definitely be the NFC South champions. They got a big one this week on the road against Atlanta, and obviously the Saints are still there. Saints usually have their number, but they're definitely looking like they're firing on all cylinders this year.
Yep, no, I have to agree with you there. Nick Sirianni's the head coach of the Eagles, right?
Yeah,
Do we
that guy
think this
sucks.
is last year as a NFL head coach?
At least for a while, right? Oh man, I know that a lot of Eagles fans already want him gone. They wanted him gone after they won last week. They were
That's
talking
Yeah,
true.
about getting rid of him. So, boy, you might be onto something there.
but I mean, I don't know. The Eagles are not the Eagles of last year. Somehow, I mean, I know they lost Jason Kelsey, but somehow they just downgraded massively. And I mean, losing a center like Jason Kelsey, who basically runs 50-50 of the offense with, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
And, now it's all on Jalen Hurts to be able to call out pass coverages and, blitzes and all this stuff. And I feel like that, I mean, that loss is really hurting Jalen Hurts right now. And that's, that might be a big reason. As you lose a leader like that, and the team goes to shit sometimes. And but yeah. So and then the Bucks. I mean, that's a team right there.
Yes,
That's a team.
sir.
The NFC South is nothing to be messed with this year. I mean, they're
Isn't
definitely.
that wild?
I mean, the Saints coming out and starting their season the way they did, with that just amazing offensive firepower, and then you got Baker Mayfield down here just diming everybody. It just feels like every week Baker's got some good stats, and
Oh
they're
yeah.
winning. They're winning football games, so something's clicking, and I, yeah, the NFC South is, and then you got Atlanta with Kirk Cousins and that whole team that they tried to build to go win a Super Bowl now, and I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough
Panthers
season
with
for
Andy
anybody.
Dalton
Yep,
looking
the
a lot
Panthers
better.
with Andy Dalton.
You know what? Didn't we say? I think we talked about it. Like this would be the worst division in football, and then the AFC North would be the best. And then you had you had the Steelers, the only one that were good, and then like the Ravens started 0-2. Bengals are
One
barely one and
and
One
three.
and
three.
three.
I
Yeah,
think
Yeah.
Browns are 1-3 and look very bad. So it's kind of funny how that like flip flopped. But yeah, it it's crazy. But talking about more about that NFC South, we had a really awesome game, honestly, down in New Orleans with the Falcons and the Saints, and this thing was back and forth, man. We had defensive touchdowns. Saints really shot themselves in the foot a lot, and again, I will stand on this. This is my hot button, my soapbox, whatever you want to say. I am just getting so confused on why teams continue to go for it time and time again on fourth down. Now, I know when it was like, fourth and one or fourth and two with the Eagles, you have a guaranteed play. Okay, yeah, go ahead and do that anytime. Like, you're going to get it. But I can't remember. I think it was like fourth and it was definitely fourth and four or longer. It could have been like fourth and 8 or something. And they were in easy field goal range. It was towards the end of the game, but they had 3 timeouts, 2-minute warning left, and they were down 5. And so they go for it, don't get it, but then end up stopping the Saints, the Falcons, have to kick a field goal. Then they're down 26-24, or they kick a field goal. I'm sorry. They were, I mistook it. They were down 23-21. And then they kicked a field goal to go up 24-23. And then all the Falcons had to do was go down and kick a field goal when if you would have taken those 3 points, you could have got them had to force them to get a touchdown. And Young Wei Koo, man, He knows how to do it. 58-yard field goal for the win. So I say it like the Lions could have done it in the NFC Championship last year, and and so many teams are getting burned this year. I don't know how you guys feel, but take the points when you can get them, man. Especially in this NFL season where points are down and everything. Offenses aren't scoring as many touchdowns. Take the points when you can.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like teams really rely on the analytics nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just coach's decision because, I mean, even in the game last week with the Steelers, I mean, Mike Tomlin. I've never seen Mike Tomlin get this aggressive. He went for it on a 4th and 2, I believe, on his own 48 or something like that. And I was like, what are we doing?
What?
And then, I mean, he challenged the play after that, but we can get into that later. It was just, it's crazy how teams are doing this now where they don't take the points. But at that same thing, it's all about the scenario as well.
Yeah.
In a situation where you need a touchdown and a field goal, I mean, you got to get one or the other, and touchdown's harder to get. So maybe you go for it on that 4th down to try to get that touchdown because it's harder to get. But it's all up to the analytics nowadays. That's all coaches listen to, and not any decision I think is really made anymore.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah,
And,
pretty true though.
I mean, regardless of what ends up the analytics saying, I think sometimes you can use as many analytics as you can to make a good decision, but sometimes it ends up biting you back in the butt. But I think I like Jacobs. I agree with you. Why not just take the point, score the field goal, and then you're up by something or you're down. Like you're not having to worry about it. You're actually, sometimes you get a stop on defense. Perfect. But then, for example, this game where they could have been up twice, they end up taking a field goal and not even they end up losing by a field goal that they should have taken in the first place. So I agree. I think that the teams just need to get into the habit of taking a field goal.
Well,
And
and I think Wes said it best, where it's like situations, right? You got to understand the situation, and if you're up, so I misspoke, but they were up 24-23, and they went for it on 4th down with an easy field goal in play, and like or sorry, no, I just misspoke again because they were down 23-21, and they could have gone up 24-23 and then gotten the ball back like they did, gone up 26-21. Geez, sorry about that. But or 27-21, forced Atlanta to go for a touchdown where they didn't have that much time. It's much harder, like Wesley just said, to get a touchdown than it is a field goal, especially the way kickers are these days, where they got huge freaking legs. It doesn't take that much, especially if these touchbacks are out to the 30. You need 20, 25 yards, it feels like these days, before
yeah,
your kicker's in football range. So it's pretty crazy. But let's move along. Let's go on to the Commanders, because I got to stand on this hill because I wanted this guy so bad. And look what he's doing. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders killing the Cardinals 42-15, who I thought the Cardinals were like a legit team. They've played well. I think they played well against the Bills. They got a huge upset win in the season. They played well, but boy, this was their worst game by far. And Jaden Daniels continues to amaze, both on the ground. Obviously, he's got that talent, but he looks accurate and confident in that pocket. And yeah, like I said, Feisty, last week, if you got the number 1 pick and you're taking a quarterback, don't go with the guy you want. Go with the next guy, because he always seems to be a lot better and a guy that's ready to come in and play NFL football.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Jaden Daniels has definitely been impressive coming in as a rookie. I mean, and that's the thing too, because like I was even telling you on Sunday, Kyle, with the Commanders, it seemed like last year they couldn't block at all for Sam Howell. He was the most sacked quarterback in the league by a long shot last year.
Yeah.
And then they go and get their guy in the quarterback, and it seems like either the offensive line has now gelled, or they've got, some big pieces that got put in, and that, I mean, that team's a little scary. They're a pretty big underdog, I feel like, right now. That running game's running really well. Jaden Daniels is, he's running the offense the way it needs to be ran. it's everything's kind of clicking for the Commanders right now, and I feel like they're a pretty sneaky team.
Sneaky or not, they're 3-1, better than the Cowboys.
Yep, NFC's favorites, I'd say.
I don't think I've seen that in a long time.
Yeah, like it's like no joke. It really is. Like they're putting together a team that believes in the system and that believes in Jane Daniels. I said this from the start that Jane Daniels was going to be just that exceptional rookie quarterback. I know how much you guys both would like. No, let's let him sit. Let's let him sit and see how he does. But at the same time, we have that thing where we're like rookie quarterback should see it and kind of learn the game first and explode afterwards. But like Jane Daniels has been able to do it from the start, so. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for the Commanders. If the Cowboys suck, then the Commanders can take the freaking AFC East because freaking the Eagles shouldn't, and the Giants will never. So Giants don't even know what they're doing. They're going backwards, forward, left or right.
All right, let's move on to man. What an exciting game in the Raiders and the Browns, as we were all very, very highly anticipating this one. No, not really. Not much to say. As Wesley will say, the Browns are dog shit, and Raiders aren't that much better. But today they were, or on Sunday they were just a little bit beating the Browns 20-16. But the bigger news coming out of this is Davante Adams officially requests a trade from the Raiders, and I am not surprised at all. I'm surprised it took this long, to be fair, because I remember when he left, I was like, "This makes no fucking sense. Like, why did he even do this?" Because he went to go play with Derek Carr, who
Quarterback in the
is so great, and was not doing that great on the Raiders. But yeah, Raiders say they will consider trading him for a second round pick and additional compensation. I was just looking at a list of teams in the break. And you know who he'd be perfect for?
Yeah,
pointing at.
Not even gonna go for that one. I actually wouldn't want that for him. The other guys are younger. He needs to go to a contender. So, I think the obvious like first team you're gonna think of is the Jets because of Aaron Rodgers and that connection there. But the number 2 team they said was the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, not happening.
And I think then it went Bills, Ravens, Commanders, and Steelers. Were on that list. They were on the list. And they put dark horse Chiefs, where because I mean they do need a receiver. They do need receiver help, obviously. But if the Raiders trade Devontae Adams to the Chiefs, I will say that the NFL's fucking rigged, and then I'll believe all the conspiracy. They're all just doing it for Taylor Swift and everything like that. I mean, if that happens, it won't. But oh boy, I don't know. What do you guys think? You surprised about this? And yeah, obviously you want him on your teams. Do you think he goes to your teams or somewhere else?
Well, first off, with the Raiders Browns game, I was actually kind of excited to watch, like, see how the game turned out because I wanted to see how dog shit the Browns were after the Raiders lost to the Panthers. After the Raiders lost to the Panthers in Andy Dalton's first start, it absolutely obliterated the Raiders. I wanted to see how the Browns fared, and they sucked. So, but no, I want to see. I don't know if the Steelers will actually go for this trade, just because it's getting into the season. Their offense is finally kind of budding, looking good enough, especially with the defense that they have. I don't know if they'll actually go for it, but it would be awesome to see. They have. You have a route runner like Davante Adams across the line across the way from George Pickens, who is just
athletic
amazing.
Freak. Yeah, open up a lot more for him too.
Yeah. So yeah, and then I don't know. I'd like to see it happen. I don't think it will. The only reason why I think it might is because of how interested the Steelers were in Brandon Ayuk before the season. That'd be the only reason why I think it could happen, but I don't see them making a trade this far into the season.
We know Mr. Jerry Jones will be super active in making a move that the Cowboys definitely need, right, Feisty?
I mean, I would say that it's a huge need just because then this is going to help CD Lamb open up CD Lamb a little bit more. Their running game is not working, so might as well rely heavily on your passing game. And Dak still is booty cheeks. He always will be booty cheeks, but I think this would be a good thing for both Devontae Adams and also Dak because now you're able to get another weapon. Brandon Cooks is, he's still a good freaking receiver. Don't get me wrong, but he's just not it. And having Devontae Adams
He's
would be,
older. Yeah.
yeah, he's on that down decline for it. So I said this before too. I'm like Aaron Rodgers is just old dude. I really don't think it helps him going to the Jets. I think that Aaron Rodgers is washed up. Um, he's not doing anything for Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson hasn't really done much, and I said this earlier while we are on the break. He thinks that it's the coach's fault, but you're the one with the ball in your hand. So I could see that, but I could also see him going to the Saints, reuniting with Derek Carr again. Like
Just following Derek
that
around.
I could see that, and that would be good because they have a good defense or not defense, good running back, and
Can
they're
they take
running.
his contract though?
Yeah, right.
I
That's
don't
the
know.
problem.
I don't think
Their
so.
cap's already
Can
pretty
the
fucked.
Cowboys even take him because they couldn't even figure out what they were doing this offseason? So like, I'm not expecting anything heavily on this. I don't think that the Cowboys make a move, and if they do, this will be a shocking news for me, and we might have to cancel those plans that we have in motion.
Oh yeah.
We'll
Might
see. I
rethink
mean,
him, huh?
I will see. And then the Browns. Go ahead, Wesley. Browns are what?
Wait, hold on. Dog
Dog
shit.
Dog shit.
shit.
The dog pound. Nope, dog shit. That's all. That's it. And just DOG, not DAWG.
Hey, I want to throw. I want to know. I want to throw. While we're on the topic of Devontae Adams, I want to throw another name out there that could get traded. What about DeAndre Hopkins?
Ooh,
Ooh, yeah.
he's washed up too. I think
You could
here's
probably do
the
better on a better team. Devontae,
yeah,
I think, is on a. I don't think Devontae's washed up. I just think he
no.
never should have gone to the Raiders. I know if the Packers weren't going to pay you, okay, but man,
Well,
I'm sure there was a better team he could have got his money from, and I think you saw it on receiver too,
yeah.
just
Didn't
how
he say he's traded
frustrated he
to us?
was.
Yeah,
And he tried to give him his credit, man. I think he tried. He stuck it out there for a couple of years. And I think he's being respectful about it. Like he says he prefers to be traded. So we might just see him stick on the Raiders. But I hope for him he gets to go to a contender, not the Jets, not the Bills, pretty much anybody else. But yeah, I
the
would love
Chiefs.
him with Jaden Daniels. That would be
Yeah,
really fun in the NFC East. I think that the Jets are going to make sense. I think everybody will think that immediately. I think it'll help Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, obviously. So
Because I
yeah,
mean, who's their
but
number
then
two? Their number two,
Alan Lazard, I
Alan
think.
Lazard, I think, is their number two.
Yeah.
even if you went back
Um,
to the Packers, that wouldn't be a bad idea either.
Yeah,
With
going back to the
what
Packers
Tyler.
actually kind of makes some sense for what they
Yeah.
have. They don't really have a true number one. You got a quarterback, they're contenders, so I could definitely see that. And then Wesley, you said DeAndre Hopkins. I think that could definitely be another trade. I think definitely need to go to a team that's got a bona fide number one at least. I think he's not a number one anymore, unfortunately. Just too many injuries, age catching up, but yeah, that would be a good name if that would be a team like the Chiefs might want to consider. I hope they wouldn't, but that would probably be a good thing for him and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I just wanted to throw his name out there because I've been, on social media and everything with how the Titans are playing, and um, just a name that could get thrown around in the trade pool at some point. I mean, he is on the older side. I mean, how old is Devontae? Isn't he?
28.
Is he
Is he
something like
28?
that?
And then I think DeAndre Hopkins is 35.
He's 30 something for sure. He's
I think
older.
he's
Is he that old?
35.
Yeah. But here's
Wow.
the thing though, like you're right. The Hopkins
Devontae's
is not
31.
Oh, so he's older, but Hopkins is just not having
DeAndre's 32.
the quarterback that he needs. So even that's not a huge age difference, but Devontae Adams just seems like he's still got it, while Hopkins is kind of more on the down slope on it. And so I'm just curious to see it because I did see that like there's a video on there too on the receivers where he's like, dude, I gotta get out of here. I'm gonna get killed here.
He's
Like,
gonna get killed. Yeah.
and it's true. Some of the balls that they're throwing, they're just Raiders
Well,
suck.
yeah, but anybody's going to say that when they come from Aaron Rodgers. I
Yeah.
mean, Aaron Rodgers protects his receivers. You know what I mean? He can throw a ball just like how Tom Brady did. You know,
Yeah.
Tom Brady always put a ball in a position where his receiver wasn't going to get hit,
Yep.
or at least tried to.
And he also said it too. He's like, if I was playing against like Ray Lewis, I'm not throwing the ball over the middle of the field. I'm
Yeah.
never gonna do that. Doesn't matter who it is. I know he's gonna get freaking killed. I care about my receiver's health. So yeah. But you got speaking of those Titans, they won finally. In the another dog shit game on Monday Night Football. I didn't watch this one at all. I was definitely tuned into Lions and Seahawks, but Tyler Huntley got the start at Miami. I just don't think they're quite gelling. They're not quite ready. It's hard to get, especially a guy coming in to a new system like that. I think he definitely looked a lot better with the Ravens because he had been there. And so he might get better, but yeah, not looking good for the Dolphins, especially when a team like the Titans kick your ass like that. But yeah, Lions Seahawks, man, that was a freaking
That was a
barn
good game.
burner. That was a lot of fun to watch. Jared Goff just dialed it up for an NFL record, 18 for 18.
Yep.
Completions and attempts, most ever without an incompletion. Also caught a touchdown pass from Amon-Ra St. Bound. That was nuts.
I think
And
that's his second NFL reception, first NFL touchdown,
is it?
receiving touchdown.
Gotcha.
And then for Amon-Ra, that was his first passing attempt in the NFL and
Pretty
first
good.
passing touchdown. So
Pretty freaking good. Yeah. And it was back and forth. I mean, Seahawks definitely were in it for the majority. Mr. Kenneth Walker ruined my chance in fantasy in getting back to 500. I had a 25-point lead, I think, going into Monday Night Football, and he was the only player my opponent had. And yeah, we're 1-3, so at least I'm better than Feist, but that's about all I can say right now. But no, that Lions,
guess
that
who
Lions.
the champion over here.
You don't need to bring it. Oh, he had it ready. Dude.
How many points did you score this week?
60, but still, I'm 3-1. That's what happens when the She Rise goes down, all right?
Hey,
Man.
you're talking about one player going down. My whole team's been down. So I'm just riding this one out, boys.
Hey, speaking of your team, how'd you feel about that 82-yard touchdown for Amari Cooper getting called back?
Dude, I keep playing Amari Cooper hoping that something will change. I'm so sick of it. I really am. I literally am getting dogged on every week thinking that he's going to do something. I'm at the point where I'm going to drop him, and whoever ends up getting, I hope he goes off for you because he's done nothing but dog crap for me. I was so excited for that touchdown, and then.
So next season, before the next season, when Feist loses the league, obviously,
Obviously.
he's got to wear the dress on the podcast.
Ooh, even better.
Oh, give me a Cowboys dress, please.
Give you a Cowboys dress. The cheerleading outfit we could do that even better.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Don't touch me with a good time, bro. I'm going
Don't touch
0-12 at that point. 0-18. Okay.
Oh boy. Well, let's move on to the team that Feist likes to say, the best team in Texas. Or I think he said the best team in Dallas earlier today. It's Houston, the Houston Texans, who were my lock for this week. Barely beat the Jaguars. It was not the beatdown I was kind of envisioning after they lost to the Vikings, but they were down a lot of that game. But they were able to avoid the upset. CJ Stroud leads them down, ends up beating them 24-20. So Jags fall to 0-4, which I think makes them now the only I don't know how you say that team that hasn't won in the NFL.
Yeah, the only winless team.
Winless team. There you go. Jeez.
Idiot. What
Idiots.
is he,
Kyle's
me?
talking like five.
We also about to say, what is he, me? Only one of us could be having bad English. Oh,
Uh, no, I mean the Texans. The Texans. I even though they barely squeaked it out against the Jags, the Texans are a damn good football team. Um, this is the NFL. Anything can happen unless you're the Chiefs and the refs play for you. Um, so, but yeah, the Texans I think are going to be at the top of the AFC, and even though they just squeaked out of the win against the Jaguars, I'm going to bet it right now. How about the Chiefs and the Texans in the AFC Championship?
Ooh, that's probably my picks too.
oh, yeah, that's right. That sounds
You
about right.
think the Ravens maybe they're looking hot now? Bills can be up there, but I feel like those teams are more consistent right now for sure.
Hey, Texans, the best NFL team in the league, in my opinion. They got everything clicking. They got great offense. When they can get dialed in, there's no stopping them. I know, like you guys said, this game was barely, they won by 4 points, but I think regardless of this, the team just has it so well, and they didn't even have Joe Mixon. So like that's the other part that like they didn't even have him play and lost 2 games. Imagine if him being on the team again. That's going to be a huge boost for them. Open up the running game, and then that opens up the passing. And so, I think the Texans end up going to the AFC Championship game as well, and then hopefully the Packers or not Packers, the um, Chiefs don't end up going there either because nobody wants to see that.
Nobody wants to. I'm about sick of it.
Okay.
You said the best team, but I don't know. Best team statistically right now in the win loss column. That's the only undefeated team. The Minnesota Vikings, 4-0. They were my underdog pick against the Packers. Felt pretty good at this pick. It was in Lambeau, so I think that's why they were favored. But I think with Jordan Love just coming back and everything, I wasn't sure how Packers were doing. I think the Vikings are just rolling right now. Their defense is clicking. Sam Darnold leading the league in touchdown passes. I mean, they're looking good, and nobody would have thought it. And they beat the Packers 31-29, so just barely survived. They were up 28 to nothing, though, in this game in the first half. I mean, it looked terrible for Green Bay.
Yeah.
And Green Bay finds a way to bring it back. They explode for 22 points in the fourth quarter, come up just short of that comeback. Jordan Love had an up and down day. I believe he had 3 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So definitely a tale of two halves for the Packers, but Vikings able to find a way to stay undefeated on the season.
Yeah, and I think the Vikings are looking pretty damn good. But I mean, what do you think, Sam Darnold? Right? Why am I blanking his
Yeah,
name?
Sam
Yeah.
Darnold.
So what do you think of Sam Darnold being comeback player of the year?
I I have heard that, but I've always viewed that as
More
that's what Joe
injury.
Flacco talked about when he won it. He's like, where did I come back from? The couch? Like that's all I was doing. I feel like it's more of an injury thing, but apparently it's not. So yeah, I think he would probably, if that's the case, definitely be a front runner, right?
Because I mean, he's looking pretty damn good in that Vikings offense, man.
He's looking good. Didn't I say I mentioned the Bill Belichick quote that the only people that didn't like Sam Darnold were the Jets, and every other team he's been on loved and raved about him.
Yes,
But
love them. Yeah.
That's just the Jets.
Jets are the Jets, baby.
Yeah, wait, didn't Jordan Love, did you say he had 3 picks as well? Didn't he have 3 picks?
I think so.
Did you
Yeah,
mention that? Yeah, he had 3 picks in that
it says
game
4 touchdowns actually. So 4 touchdowns and almost 400 yards for Jordan Love.
for
But yeah,
Jordan Love.
three
And I
picks.
think he also had 3 picks too, so that was a struggle. And overall, like the Vikings, the surprising team of this NFL season so far. I bet freaking Kirk Cousin looks like a freaking
Yeah.
idiot. Yeah, like what are you doing, man? Kyle Pitts is trash. Let me tell you that right now.
I could have told you that one.
Oh my gosh, dude! I was like, Kirk Cousins there. It's gonna be so good.
It's gonna be
And
different
now
this year.
it's the same story, just a different season. But I'm sure Kirk Cousins looking at this and saying, "Wow." And I thought Justin Jefferson was gonna slow down, but I think a dog could throw the ball and he could go get it. So that guy's just
Yep.
insanely good. There's a reason why he's the number one receiver. He's the highest paid receiver. Like he's just a dog, and they continue to do it, and hopefully they keep having this Cinderella story. And I thought too. I've always thought that that comeback player was more injury kind of related, but it's sounding like it's not. So why not? Guy's
Yeah.
balling out. He has like 900 plus passing yards, leading the league in touchdowns.
Yeah, we're talking about comeback player of the year. How about MVP for Sam Darnold?
Let's not go that far.
No, that's already taken by, I think, Patrick Mahomes.
No, that's taken by Taylor Swift and the Illuminati that's putting this all together.
Illuminati. Oh boy. Well, let's move on to America's favorite game of the week, I think. No. The 49ers, who are 10.5-point favorites over the Patriots. I'll just say this. They covered.
Somebody clip that, bro. Somebody clip that. Oh my gosh, that was funny.
And more. And more. I think they beat them 30-13. I don't even know. Don't even care. Yep, 30-13. We knew this was going to happen. Again, no offense for the Patriots at all. 49ers defense killed our offensive line. Who would have thought?
Drake May?
Nope. No reason to die yet. No reason to die. He's just a baby. Okay, got a lot of life to live. But that's what a lot of people are saying. There's a lot of like, well, all right, we're going to Drake May now. We going to Drake May now? There's no point. I mean, I don't know who could do it around this offensive line. We're down on our second, third stringers now of an offensive line that was already ranked in the bottom of the league coming into it. So, yeah, but Jerron Mayo said that Jacoby Brissett is still 100% the quarterback, so that's good, at least for now. It was crazy, actually. David Gottschall, our defensive tackle, he called out some players. He didn't mention them by name, but he just said we were playing selfish on defense, that a lot of guys just wanted to try and make plays for themselves and weren't playing as one and playing for your, all 11 guys and everything. So I liked to hear that. I think we're back to the point where I started. This season doesn't matter too much. We're looking at those left tackles in college. We're looking at the guy from LSU, and we're preparing for that. I did see Kendrick Bourne is expected to return to practice this week, so that'll be good. He's definitely the best receiver. We'll see how he is coming off an ACL tear, but he's the best receiver we got. Hopefully that can help a little bit. But yeah, didn't expect this too much. Probably should have gone with them as my lock, but I got them as my random. So hey, I'll still take it.
Hey, you remember what I asked you on Sunday? Are the Patriots the toilet bowl of the NFL now?
Yeah, right. That's why I think on here I called them the Carolina Panthers of the AFC, and I was like, I don't know if I can even say that because the Carolina Panthers had a really dominating win. And yeah, it's boy. And like I told you guys on here, after that week 1 win, I know that I was excited and going crazy, and I think that's what fans do. And I knew, deep down, I knew we weren't really going to be good anyways. But Gerard Mayo getting that ice bath, I called it out, or that Gatorade bath. Like, it's not going to look good when you go 1-4.
Celebrating their 1 win on the season.
Yep. So there we go. We got the Dolphins next week, and we are favorites. 1-point favorites.
You guys have just as many odds as me winning my first point, baby.
We might have the same record. Nope.
They'd still have
twice as many wins as you.
No. I'll call it a comeback.
Yeah, those were my picks for the week.
Well, let's get into my picks for the week.
Wait, hold on. Please, please. No. What? Yeah. Leslie just has a hard time this year. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't,
Go
I
ahead.
don't, I don't want to. No. All right. So let's start off. Let's start off with the lock. All right. Steelers coming in. Steelers coming into this week 3-0 against the Colts. You know, the Colts, I don't know what it is, but I always feel like the Colts play their hardest against the fucking Steelers every year.
Vice, you want to say it? You want to say it? Homer.
How can you not pick your own team when they start 3-0, man? Come on now. And it's what was it? They were 1.5 favorites over the Colts. I mean, that's easy for a lock, I feel like. 3-0 team coming against a 1-3 team. I was wrong. All right, I was wrong. But no, this game, it just wasn't. The Steelers didn't start off with the same fire they had the first few weeks that they were playing. I mean, the defense. I mean, the opening drive, just Anthony Richardson torched them. Running game was torching the defense. It's just like there was all this hype about how the Steelers were going to have the same defense as I think it was the 2004 Ravens, where they didn't let a team get more than 18 points all season long.
Oh, yeah.
And there was all this hype around the defense, and then they just let the Colts just run it right down their throats to score a touchdown on the opening drive. And I was just like, what are we doing, man? And then they go down, get another touchdown, go get a field goal. Then when I thought we had a chance, because for some reason Anthony Richardson was having his feels like his best game. He goes down with an injury in the first quarter.
Dude, I can't believe. So he injures. It was his hip on a running play. Gets hit, goes off to the sideline, comes back. The first play the Colts call is a running play for him.
For him.
And he gets hurt again. I'm like, what are you? Why would you do that to a guy who you already know has a very, very high injury-prone history or whatever you want to call it? But that just seemed like a stupid-ass decision to me.
Well, and then
did
you see how he got hit the second time?
What was it?
So that he was running when he was going off to the side. T.J. Watt grabbed his leg, it was T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt grabbed his leg and slid down his leg, and then the bottom of T.J. Watt's helmet hit the back of his heel and actually ripped T.J. Watt's helmet off. But I think that plant of him pulling his leg at the same time of T.J. Watt's face mask hitting his ankle, just like pulled his hip or something.
Yeah.
And that's. But then we had Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco, baby. Joey footsteps. Man, I wish the Patriots got him instead of Brissett. If we got him, we're looking at a whole different team.
Then we get Joe Flacco, and I don't know. I mean, the Steelers make a comeback. Their offense kind of, gets a fire lit under their ass, and, it's just too little too late. And like I said earlier in the podcast, Mike Tomlin was being really aggressive in this game. Never really seen him be that aggressive. I've seen it, he's more of a conservative coach in that type of aspect where he doesn't go for the fourth downs most of the time, especially when it's on their own side of the field, unless he absolutely has to. Just bad game all around. You can't play in the fourth quarter. You have to play all four. You can't just start to play in the fourth quarter. And Justin Fields, for the first 3 quarters of the game, looked like Justin Fields of the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
He did. We were saying that the boys were calling him out, and it was like as soon as we did that, then that's when he kind of turned it on. And he had, 2 rushing touchdowns to bring you guys back?
300 plus yards in passing.
Did he end up with that? Yeah,
Nice.
312,
Yeah.
312 passing touchdown and 2 rushing touchdowns.
Mhm.
Unfortunate favors for sure for them, but
That
um,
fumble wasn't a good look.
No, but that's the problem, bro. Like the two out of the 4 games that we've played, the first play of the game, Justin Fields fucked something up.
Hmm.
He messed up the snap in the opening play, opening drive of the season. He messed up the snap, and then he does this where he looks like Justin Fields of old and runs around in the backfield until he fumbles the football.
Yep.
It kind of seemed like he reverted back, but then in the fourth quarter he gives you that hope of like he's an actual good NFL quarterback.
Well, I did see that Mike Tomlin said he's preparing Justin Fields as the starter, even if Russell Wilson plays or practices more against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. How are we feeling about that matchup, boys?
$50.
nah, bro, you got me messed up. You got me messed up. Our defense
Oh,
is banged up. Our offense is banged up.
okay. Well, what about this? Isn't your father-in-law a Steelers fan?
He is.
How about you wear some Steelers gear on the podcast if they win, and we'll have to find a way to get Wesley wear some Cowboys gear if
I'll take
they
that.
win.
I'll take that bet, baby.
Oh, here we
That bet,
go.
baby.
Here we go. All right.
It's gonna be a tough game. Obviously, it's in Heinz.
Heinz
Heinz
Field.
Field.
That's the correct name.
Oh,
I'm going for Kyle.
Acrisure Stadium.
Sorry, I'm going for
Acrisure
Kyle for
Stadium.
once, big country. I'm not going against you. Gosh, you guys are always against him. Oh.
I said that's the correct name. I just knew that Kyle was going to come back and say it's actually Acreshire.
Sure. Some good news from that game though with the Colts. They're mentioning that Richardson shouldn't miss really any games, if anything. So maybe that injury wasn't super serious. That he might miss maybe 1 or 2 weeks, if anything. So hopefully,
No more Joe Flacco.
I like him, but we don't want Joe Flacco no more. So, but the Cowboys and Steelers. I'm a
Can we get that game flexed out of Sunday Night Football, please?
Huh?
You heard me.
Hey,
So many good games going on today.
That atmosphere in Heinz Field is going to be electric.
What'd you say, Feist? The only reason they got it is because they're playing the Cowboys?
Yeah, bro, you guys would not have had the Sunday night game if it wasn't for the Cowboys. Just
What are
saying.
you talking about? The Steelers have like the most fans in the league. Second to Dallas.
I was about to play you the Crows, my guy. Dude.
Well, hey, let's get back to my really shitty picks this week. Dude, fuck the Ravens. I hate the Ravens. I fucking hate the Ravens.
Fuck the Bills.
So I had the Bills as my underdog coming into this week. I just thought that they've been playing so good, and the Ravens were playing like shit, and Ravens fucking proved me wrong. Literally first play of the game, they proved me wrong.
Oh my god. Derrick Henry, bro. I'm that quick. I'm like, hey, whoa, wait. I need some points from Lamar Jackson. Jesus, he took him right down. Oh my goodness. Isn't that so crazy watching him do that in back-to-back games? Feisty, you remember when he torched the Dallas Cowboys?
Why do you have to do that?
Well, I thought he was supposed to be a Cowboy, man. I wonder why he wasn't.
Shut up. We're eventually going to make moves once Jerry Jones' plans are executed.
You mean finished?
We're getting sued.
Did it again. Oh boy, dude! No, that was nuts. I mean, Ravens were firing on all cylinders. The one good thing for the Bills that game was that one play from Josh Allen where he only Josh Allen can make these freaking throws, but he's running around. He is literally a half a step away from the sideline, off one foot, chucks it like 50, 60 yards downfield, gets the completion. But other than that, yeah, they just got destroyed 35-10 on Sunday Night Football. It ended up being a terrible game. And then more big news coming out after this is Von Miller suspended for 4 games for violating the league's conduct policy, which had to do with an assault charge that he said was BS. I think it was back in December, but yeah, he'll be out 4 games, and he's been having a comeback. He's been getting sacks most games, I think, and playing really well. So that's going to be a big loss for the Bills.
Huh. Why? Since December, huh?
Yeah, it's whatever time they need to, investigate it, and they just finally came to a conclusion, I guess.
What's weird is like you don't. I mean, when Von Miller played for the Broncos, he was very out there on social media. I feel like, and now he's not as much anymore. But what you saw from Von Miller is that he's like not. He's a very happy-go-lucky type guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You don't
Yeah.
you don't think of this
Seems like
happening
a sweet guy, yeah.
from Von Miller, but you
They're
never know
very
behind
well
closed
put
doors.
together. They're very well put together. So I don't know. I mean, obviously they found a proper cause for it, so they wouldn't just suspend him for it. But I hate Derrick Henry. You hate the Ravens. I hate Derrick Henry. I should have drafted him. I should have. We should have gotten him on the Cowboys. Cowboys should have stopped him last week. So there's a lot of I should have.
Ooh,
I wish I
yeah.
could.
Speaking of that good Cowboys defense, you know what the Steelers love to do? Love to run that football, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
What are we back
boy.
to this? We're talking about the Bills. And
What was your last pick of this week there, Wesley?
Last pick. I know it's taken a while to get through this. It's taken a while, and I hate it because they all sucked. I had the Jets against the Broncos.
Thought should have been a good pick. Should have been a good pick.
And Bo Nix, who still didn't do shit in this game.
hey, calm down.
You know who they're Feist, you know who they're comparing him to now?
Who?
It's not Mac Jones anymore.
Daniel
It's
Dimes.
baby hands Kenny Pickett.
Oh,
You got the Mac Jones and Kenny Pickett treatment there. Because did you guys see? I don't know if you guys watched that game, but it was not a very fun one. But it happened to be on local TV because it's the Broncos, so we love that. And yeah, he could not hold the ball to save his life. I mean, in the first half, it was like terrible because it was torrential downpour like the whole game. Like it was just raining, so it was slipping and stuff. He was kind of shot putting passes and everything. Yeah, it looked a little tough. Looked a little tough in the first half, but the good news is the Jets offense. The Jets are the Jets, so they ended up sucking too. Lose 10-9 to the Broncos.
Jets.
Eesh. Bringing Wesley's total to a whopping -5 points for the week. Feist, did you have more success?
I did, and quite frankly, I always do every week. So let's get into it. So this week, I just knew it. I just felt like I talked to the team, and the Cowboys were my lock. They were 6-point favorite over the Giants, so easy 3 points for me on that. Not a whole lot to say. We already talked about that game, right? And so good win for them, good win for me. Moving on.
Was it?
No comment. No
Not a
comment
good
needed from
win.
you guys. Thank you.
It's a win, not a good win.
It was to get our confidence back. Okay, I got my swagger back. Oh wait, we can't sing his music. Anyways, moving on to my underdog. I just had to do it to Wesley. I just had to. I picked the Colts, baby. And what
I
they
think
were
that's
one.
the first time anybody's picked like against each other. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, so I picked the Colts. They were 1.5 underdog, and Wesley, what happened in that game?
We already talked about
it. So, well, we know what happened. I got 1.5 points out of it. And then the last one, just had to go with the Swifties. I went with KC. They were a negative 8.5 favorite over the Chargers. There was some drama happening in this game, right, Jacobs?
Oh yeah, they went down 10-0 in the first quarter. Chargers looked pretty good to start it out, but that was it. After that, they were donezo and didn't score another point. Lose 17-10, but I think Wesley alluded to it a little bit earlier. Rashee Rice is feared. I don't think it's officially been reported yet to have a torn ACL.
They should
So
know by now.
I think so. It hasn't been reported, but it's got to be a torn
Stupid.
ACL.
They should know by now.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
is huge for them. I mean, he's been clearly their number one option this year by far. Best receiver on their team and most
Better than Travis
complete.
Kelsey.
Yep. But you know who's now going to be the number one? Hopefully for my
he's
team
washed up.
is Travis Kelsey. But yeah, and it was kind of terrible. It was actually in a collision with Patrick Mahomes
Yeah,
after an interception. So talk about unlucky. But yeah, Chiefs lose their number one weapon, and yeah, Wes loses. I think his first player fight. So he doesn't. You don't understand his pain losing
buddy.
a big injury.
Mm,
LeBron said not one,
no, I lost. I think I
not
lost
two.
Cooper Cup too. Let me
Oh,
check
you
real
have
quick.
Cooper. You have Cooper
Uh,
Cup too.
Mm-hmm.
anyways, LeBron said not one, not two, not three, but four. How
Yep.
many people have lost? So
There
I
it
you
just
lost
go.
adds
Rashee
up.
Rice and Cooper Cup. So both
It's,
my starting receivers.
it just adds up, buddy. Hey, let me know if you're trying to move things around. I can make it happen. But anyways, this was a good, solid, and it was kind of weird because I didn't think that Herbert was gonna play this game.
Yeah,
They're trying to kill that dude. I swear, bro. They need to just let him rest.
I
He's just
think he
gonna hurt
wants to play
himself.
too. To
He
be
wanted to
fair,
play.
He does, but somebody needs to be the person to tell him, "Hey, let's get you 100%."
well,
Because
aren't they on a bye this week too?
I think they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I mean,
Well,
like
and see,
I,
that's the thing too.
they
Like
should
he
have
he
just
had
ran
two
West.
backup. He had two backup tackles too, both sides of the line.
Yeah,
oh wow,
wow.
Two backup tackles playing on an injured, what was it, calf,
ankle.
Cool.
ankle, playing
Yeah,
on an injured ankle. I mean, you just got to sit, man.
Well,
I
like
mean,
if
and
you
you're
would have
playing the
just sat
Chiefs,
this game, yeah, if you would have sat this game, then take this next game as your bye week, you're maybe back to 100%, 80%, because he's still there.
but he is a competitor. And he won't sit.
yeah.
Somebody's got to tell him, like, hey, man, not this one. So, anyways, moving on. Hopefully, they end up figuring out to let him sit. So that brought my total in that game plus 5 points. So let me get into the weekly update, baby. Just kidding. And in whopping last place is Big Country with 2.5 points. Wesley, the whole point is to pick the team that's gonna win, not
Do you want me to go back to the
no.
NBA pick'ems
We're sport,
in a
sport,
sport that I barely know?
different sport, buddy. Sorry, let's move on. In second place, still trying to keep up, still beating Wesley, is Mr. Jacobs himself with 19 points.
Yeah, beat you this week. Okay,
I
it's a
did.
long season. It's a long
I
season.
hear that every week, and I'm still up by a lot.
You're
Anyway,
just lucky
and-
I had a negative 5 point week last week. That's the only reason.
that's what they all say. Anyway, the chosen one, the king,
Oh
the,
boy.
the greatness in
This guy's a
first
Dallas
place.
Cowboys fan, isn't he?
He comes up with a new nickname every week too. I think
Every
he
week,
Uh-huh.
like keeps
bro. Every week, we've been
keeps
missing out.
adding it onto the list.
This is his only thing that's going good with football right now.
Morgan's doing okay. Morgan's doing okay. They're,
Oregon's doing good. Oregon's
you
undefeated.
know, we're trying to get somewhere. So, buzz off. I have 30 points.
Boom. There you go. Enjoy it while it lasts, because guess what? My picks are looking pretty good this week, okay? I'm taking my lock as the Commanders over the dog shit Browns. And then my underdog, I'm going to take the Cardinals as 7.5 point underdogs against the Niners. Don't necessarily think they're going to win. I think that they've been playing well enough to cover, though. So, and if they happen to pull off an upset, maybe I can get a bunch of points. And then my random, I'm going to take the Ravens as 2.5 point favorites over the Bengals.
Not gonna, not gonna win this week. This is my week. All right, guys. This is where I start my comeback. Okay.
Call it a comeback, baby.
We got my picks for my lock. I have the Packers, who are a 3.5 favorite versus the Rams. I've got the Bucks as my underdog, who are 1.5 underdogs versus Atlanta.
Nice.
And then I've got the Chiefs as my random, who are 5-point favorites versus the Saints.
Homer. You would choose that.
I think this is the first week he hasn't picked the Steelers. Interesting. Is he maybe a little worried going into Sunday night? Huh?
Got $50 now.
No, I like this other bet better.
Well, I look good in yellow, so it doesn't even matter. My picks this week. Actually, I was a Steelers fan once. If you look back on my history on Facebook, I think I have a Steelers hat.
Oh, so you're a bandwagon, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I'm
so
not
you're
really a
bandwagon.
Cowboys fan. So for my lock this week, I picked the Seahawks, who are 6-point favorite over the Giants. Giants are just gonna continue to stumble, continue to suck. So
Well, I thought the Cowboys had a good win. How is it a good win if
confidence-wise,
they sucked?
confidence-wise, bro.
It's confidence. Okay.
Once in a while, you have. Never mind. And then my underdog, I picked. This one's a risky one. The next two are actually risky. But I picked the boy, Jets, Jets. So
Good luck with that one, buddy.
yeah, they're underdogs by 2.5 points. So Minnesota's undefeated. Somebody's got to end this undefeated streak, and I think the Jets will fly by super fast. So, and then the random team, the best team in Dallas. That's what one idiot said. The best team in
The only
Texas.
team in Texas.
Texans, baby. Ride or die. I think last week was the only week I haven't picked them. So, they're 1 point under, or they're 1 point underdogs against the Bills at home. Bills are cooking. James Cook is cooking.
Let James cook.
So I'm hoping that he doesn't cook. I'm hoping that the Texans get Mixon back and that he can provide that run so they can open up the passing like they did this past weekend. And we'll have to see what ends up happening.
Hell yeah. All righty. Well, thank you, boys, for joining us. That's been another episode of your favorite Couch Potatoes. Check out episodes dropping on YouTube and Spotify every Thursday. Get you ready for the football week. And then make sure to check out all the socials, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Give us some likes, comments, share the page, help us grow the program. Until next time, we'll catch you on the couch.